our young married life didn't start out very well.
Yeah.
22. How old were you?
20.
20 when we got married.
You're still figuring things out in your
Yep.
20s.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, we have a baby now, and so I have to forego things I wanted to do and provide.
Yeah.
And so that's when I took on bartending because it was easy cash back then. And
And I was a waitress.
yeah,
At the same restaurant?
No, next
Different one?
door.
right?
Yeah, the Chili's. He was Black Angus. I was at Chili's.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up
So-
getting an office job.
Yeah.
And then we were 2 shifts passing in the night because I wasn't a very good guy back then. I was out partying all night and with the other bartenders. We closed the bars, the Black Angus in Monrovia, which was just this meat shop basically. And
Yeah.
and I wouldn't get home till like 6 in the morning, 7.
Ooh, that's really party.
From after going to eat breakfast and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'd be leaving for work. And so our relationship started to become estranged.
Yeah.
And
Which was the nice part is our daughter didn't have to be with the babysitter. I mean, there was a plus side of that, but
Yeah.
it was hard on our marriage.
Yeah.
Very hard.
to the point where we separated for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, based on that, what she talked about, my commitment that I learned from my parents and my uncle and my aunt. There's just no way am I going to get a divorce. There's just no way. So whatever it takes. So I decided to seek God. And the first person I called was my mentor, Vince. And I was broken up, didn't know what to do. And so he gave me some scriptures, and I superficially accepted Christ as my Savior, just so I can
So
get
you
my
weren't
way.
a Christian before this?
No.
Okay.
Grew up in the world and did some, good things and bad things, and a lot of bad things. But learned through Christ that I was obviously forgiven of that stuff. But like I said, it wasn't a genuine. It was mostly to get my wife back. Right. And so when that happened, we got back together. I just started going back, slipping back into my old ways. And so we became that same 2 people passing in the night, and back to where we started from, She left me for a few weeks, and then, which rightly so, and then I had to figure things out. And so I said, okay, this time I'm really going to commit to it. And I don't know if familiar with Raul Reese.
Oh, yeah.
That's my first pastor.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And I was staying at my mom and dad's that night, or my daughter was being watched by them. And I said, I'm going to go check out this church, see what's up. Mm-hmm. And so I walked in there, and he starts his message. And I'm in the back, and I'm trying to be inconspicuous. And it was like he parted the Red Sea and was just speaking.
To really hit you in the eyes.
I'm going, did somebody tell this guy what I'm going through right now?
Yeah, that's so
And
awesome.
and Kris and I had already decided that she was going to leave. Bought her a truck. We were about ready to pack all her stuff. She was going to leave in 2 weeks. And so I came home that Wednesday night, and I said, before you go, and I actually accepted Christ that night.
Genuinely.
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah.
And I said, you got to listen to this guy. I've never heard this before. She goes, I want nothing to do with God. I want nothing to do with any of that stuff. I said, just do this one last thing for me. So she agreed to do it. And so the following Wednesday, right, or was it a Sunday night? Sunday night.
anyway.
So that
Yeah.
Sunday night,
It's Sunday night.
he decides to talk on his book, Fury to Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And Kris was there. And when he was done with that whole message, I look over, and she's just bawling her eyes out. And so he had an altar call, and she got up and walked up. I'm
So
like,
you weren't a Christian either at this
No.
point?
Oh, no. We're
No.
both,
We were
Shout out to Raul.
yeah,
Good job, bud.
we're both
Yeah.
super heathens.
super heathen. And
So-
you grew up Catholic. I grew up just going to church on Easter and Christmas.
Yeah.
You know.
CEO Christians.
Yes.
Christmas and Easter only.
That's right. Yeah. If that, right?
Yeah.
I was looking for a drink and a hit versus,
Yeah.
the meaning of Christmas.
That's beautiful.
But and so that's from that point on, we both got saved basically and pulled everything back, and we've been together through Christ ever since. And it hasn't been. It's been. It's not easy, because there was times in the very beginning, like, she's like, I can't do this, and but she committed to God, and I think she truly did fear the Lord, thankfully. So yeah, and so did I.
There's a beautiful thing about marriage, and this really goes back to the meaning of marriage, is that when you have God in the center of it, because we're both imperfect individuals, the spouses are.
Right.
Everyone's broken in some way. but God is that centerpiece, and He is that sense of perfection. And so as we get closer to Him, we get closer to each other.
Right.
And I've never heard that story between you guys, so it was very beautiful. So thank you for sharing that, because it's a story of redemption, the prodigal spouse,
Exactly.
coming back, and but just a true testimony to what God can do in a not a flailing marriage, but it's hard.
No, it's
Marriage
flailing.
is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You got
If you don't have Christ, it's I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and so many people just give up right away, and because divorce is basically, even amongst Christians, is a 50-50 deal now.
100%.
So
Or 50%.
getting close.
Yeah. It's sad, and marriage is not easy, but what a beautiful story. That is nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so